everybody, how's it going? Welcome back. I'm gonna get this mic closer. I can talk loud, but I can still need to be audible. Tony is also audible. Welcome back to Tall and Up. Next.
We're keeping that in.
Welcome back to another episode of Tall and Short with Tim and Tony. I'm Tim.
I'm Tim.
And I'm Tony. Are we having an existential crisis right now?
When are we not?
Shut up. You got a point.
No.
Last episode was the filler.
Mulligan.
That was a mulligan. That was a filler. We may have those on the occasion just because sometimes
doesn't want to work.
Sometimes technology sucks.
Sometimes people suck.
And scheduling and stuff gets a little iffy. So that happens.
See.
So I've had a couple songs stuck in my head lately thanks to the internet. Just because why not? First song I had stuck in my head is it's the Journey
Nyan Cat song.
No, thankfully not. It's the Journey song that's like Someday Love Will Find You. Separate ways.
Yes.
That one's been stuck in my head. And then I had a dream last night where I had Elton John's I'm Still Standing.
Have you seen the meme or the GIF or the TikTok or whatever it is of it's Warhammer 40K and the commander is like on the bridge and you can like subtly hear like a heavy metal version of I'm Still Standing.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, should we tell him he's on an open mic? No, let him cook.
Let him cook.
And it cuts down to the Marine just,
yeah.
I'm still down there.
Never did, living like a lion.
That's me most of the time. Like on the motorcycle, like I look like a badass, Steppenwolf or ACD. No, Elton John. Elton John.
Yeah, no, that song has been playing in my head, and like the dream I had was it was almost like, you know, a Marvel or a DC movie where it's like a bunch of superheroes going against this big bad, like we're talking, they're at the peak of, the big bad's at the peak of power, and they're all just tackling him one-on-one, like, almost like Avengers Endgame when they were all going against Thanos. Like, throw that in the I'm Still Standing.
So what I had planned for our D&D campaign.
Yeah, what you had planned.
Yeah. That
was in my head, and I was like, that was a good dream. That was a good dream.
I had one bit of that D&D campaign that I thought you guys probably would have enjoyed the fuck out of. It was like a gladiator battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how my guy would have been. I mean, he was a bard.
You were a half-orc.
I was a half-orc bard. Like, that's even worse. Like, he's
Barbarian.
I didn't even consider that.
Well, multi-class.
I went full... I should have.
Multi-class next time.
But...
This is another filler episode.
No, far from it. I actually am going to be tackling an interesting topic today. This one also stems from the internet. Mostly just due to the memes that have surrounded it. We're going to talk about angels today, Tony.
Oh, boy.
And this actually, it sent me down some rabbit holes, which should not be surprising. It also sent me back to history, theology, mythology, and art history. So I had to go through...
God.
Oh, yeah. But even more, this is a very complex topic. Like, the origins of angels, the whole history of them, everything circling around it. I could do an entire podcast just over them alone. But I don't want to. So
But no.
I've simplified this to an extent, so that way, you know, we could get it done within,
a reasonable amount of time.
50 minutes to an hour, if that's possible.
When did that happen?
What happened?
Ted's, you know, one of the little rubber buffers that hold the screen like just barely above.
Yeah,
it's missing one.
Never mind.
Listen, Ted's a geriatric. Ted's falling apart. Ted needs to go to an assisted living facility.
Absolutely. But what got me interested...
I'm still standing.
What got me interested with this topic, Tony, is there's a meme that goes around. You've seen it. Everybody's seen it. One of the D&D podcasts that we listen to has brought it up. Biblically accurate angels. Everybody hears that all the time, and it's always the same thing. It's always, you know, eyes and wings, and that's it. I'm like, is that really what angels look like? We're gonna cover that, and more with what I have, looked at. But to put it frankly, this is gonna be a compacted history of angels and their origins, as well as we're gonna talk about the hierarchy of angels, which that is a major thing.
Yep.
And then finally, I'm going to cover several of the angels that actually have names that have a little bit of story to their name. Some we're familiar with, others that people go, oh, that's an angel? Yeah.
So I'll get my short little thought process out of the way real quick. My favorite angel is Castiel from Supernatural. Because ass butt.
Hey, ass butt. That
pizza lady likes that lady so pizza man likes that lady so much, why is he spanking her?
Oh my god. That is beautiful. That's
the only angel. That's the true angel.
I do have a main source for this, which did help give me a basic overview of a good chunk of what I found, as well as several Wikipedia articles, just for the sake of convenience and time.
Yeah.
Again, if I had given crap ton of weeks, I can do a full on thesis on this if I wanted to.
If you had enough time to do it like you did the Great Race episode, you fucking son of a bitch.
Oh, I would be able to. So my main source is called Angels, A Very Short Introduction. It's simple to the point, by David Albert Jones. I actually have similar books like this. It's not a very big book. It's like 172 pages. It's not very big, little thing. I have several other books related to Christianity, Judaism, the big five actually in my library that I picked up when I was in college.
Yeah.
For a comparative religion class. Then there's several Wikipedia articles on both angels, the hierarchy of angels, and then the various angels by name that I'm going to be going over. So, I'm throwing that out there right now. This could be a bit more in-depth. It's not. Let's just go with it.
Strap in.
Did he say strap in or strap on?
It's whatever you want it to be.
All right. Starting off on the origins, so to speak. We're gonna the word angel stems from the Greek word for messenger, angelos, which that should be no surprise. Greco-Latin always influences so much of Western culture. The Hebrew word for angels or messengers is malach, M-A-L-A-C-H. There was actually a Macedonian word that was like...
How do they spell it?
M-A-L-A-C-H or M-A-L-A-K-H. Malach. What you giggling?
What's my main character in D&D?
Oh, yeah.
A giant demon lion,
Oh, yeah. Giant demon panther, demon cat, nothing major. Further,
I'm going to sidetrack you so many.
You are going to. I'm fine with that. The origins of angels is actually really difficult to track because it depends on the mythology, the theology, the overall belief system that focuses with these beings. Now, the idea of lesser, celestial, or even supernatural beings is not unheard of. No. Since ancient civilizations... Since truly civilization has began, there's always been many gods. There's also been lesser beings like nature spirits and even daimons. Not demons.
Daimons.
D-A-I-M-O-N.
Targaryen.
It also became Latinized to D-A-E-M-O-N. Yeah. The idea of daimons is actually a Greek. It's actually Greek. They are nature spirits, which means deity. They're lesser gods, and they're morally kind of like people. They can be good, they can be bad, they can be ambiguous. Legitimately, they're nature spirits that actually act like people.
Yeah.
The Latinized version of daemon would go on to become demon, which is to describe a holy evil being. And oh my goodness, Tony, that was so surprising, wasn't it?
Oh my god.
We will definitely cover demons at another episode because
I feel like I should take that one to counter
this.
Yeah, to counter this one.
I got a topic I got something additional to demons I would love to tackle on to help with that. We could do a double on that one. Now, historians do argue that Zoroastrianism is the start of what most consider the foundation of angels, which is one of the oldest religions in the world. Like,
is it still active?
Yes.
Okay.
There's about 1 to 2 million practitioners. It's not very big, but it is
obviously,
but it is still in practice, primarily in Iran.
Yeah.
Which is where it started from. And for those who are unaware of Zoroastrianism, it is an old Iranian or Persian religion, depending, because I know there are people who are Iranian who are proud to call themselves Persian. So, it's still practiced to this day. At its core, Zoroastrianism emphasizes the duality of good versus evil, with good ultimately triumphing over evil. So, and even further, there's the all-powerful, the good, the Ahura Mazda, which is like one above all. That's sort of like their god, their version of God. Then there is, an evil one. I forgot the name. I wish I'd remembered that. I'd feel bad. This religion would actually influence ancient Judaism and their views on the divine as well as angels. Shocker. Zoroastrianism had 7 of its own archangels, is one way to call them, but I wouldn't really call them that because they're almost a separate being. These are called the Amesha Spentas, or divine sparks. These were 7 powerful beings under Ahura Mazda who would fight against the great evil. Zoroastrianism also had this concept of guardian spirits called Fravashi. And again, this is a simplification. These Fravashi sort of could have been the basis for the guardian angel. But putting the Fravashi and the Amesha Spentas as angels is not necessarily a good thing, because they are wholly separate entities, so to speak, and different beliefs. Hinduism may have also actually had some influence on the ancient Hebrews, which I could see, considering how close India is.
Proximity.
Yeah, because in Hinduism, there are figures called Devas and Mahadevas, who are similar to our angels and archangels, but the belief structures are obviously different, with Hinduism being polytheistic and all about reincarnation and rebirth, whereas Judaism is monotheistic and centers on preparing for your end.
Yeah.
In Hebrew tradition, angels are created from fire by God. That's how they are usually said. While in Islamic tradition, they changed it up a little, angels are made of light. Either way, warmth and light is what composes an angel, which makes sense. Both actually say the same thing about man, is that man is made from clay, molded from clay in the beginning.
Yep.
And then, further on it, this can be a topic also on its own, Islam also believes that there is a third group of beings, the jinn, who are made from smokeless fire. They are the third party. And the jinn are not really good or evil. They are just magical beings with...
Yeah, kind of neutral.
Yeah, but they can be semi-demonic, so to speak, but not.
And they're all voiced by Robin Williams. Or Will Smith.
Nah, not that one. No. On to the images of angels, because that was a brief like
rundown
where they may have originated from.
Yeah.
Difficult to track because ancient history, and so much that I don't want to get into. Angels are mentioned nearly 300 times in the Bible. I think the largest number I saw was 285. There's a lot. And this is in both the Old Testament and the New Testament. I have a copy of the King James Bible in my library, just because. I mean, small town Oklahoma. What else are you going to read sometimes?
You can get those at the dollar store on
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Angels are mentioned in the book of Genesis several times, with the first major interaction being 3 angels who appeared as guests to Abraham, where they came in and he fed them, and they said, "In 1 year you will have a son with your barren wife Sarah." And this would be the son Isaac, who would then go on to be almost sacrificed by Abraham.
Yeah.
So we're going to go a little biblical, have some Sunday school teachings here, folks. Have some fun with that. The names of these angels is not given in the Bible, but some writings, mostly more Talmudic, they give the names of Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael. So some of the more famous angels.
2 of the 4 turtles.
Only one of them's Michelangelo you're thinking of. Either way. Angels.
I know my cartoons. Shut up.
Angels are also sent to help Lot, L-O-T, and his family get out of the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah before their mutual destructions.
Before that goes belly up.
And then Lot's wife decided to look behind, and she turned into a pillar of salt. Yeah, it's like if they say don't look back, don't look back.
That's just a really odd.
It's a
punishment.
A punishment for looking at for watching the divine, perhaps. I don't know.
But it's a train wreck, and you have to watch. Them's the rules.
True. It's unfortunate. It is. Certain angels were also constructed as protectors of certain things, like the Hebrew temple, pre-500s, before pre-500 CE, 500 BC, and, like any moviegoer would know, the Ark of the Covenant.
Oh, copyright.
You've seen Indiana Jones. Everybody's seen Raiders of the Lost Ark. When they pull the ark up, and you see the winged figures, those are angels.
Yeah.
Those are angels guarding the mercy seat, as it's called, which is sort of as they're trying to make it a transponder to the divine.
You remember our movie episode, or our show? Yeah, our movie episode we did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Ark of the
Covenant?
Yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. I saw that like 3 years ago.
Really? Like finally?
Finally. Yeah, because they had the newest pile of heap come out, the Amulet of Time or whatever, with 9,000-year-old Harrison Ford.
Dial of Destiny.
Yeah, and I was like,
I haven't seen that one yet.
I watched the first 3, and then I tried to muddle my way through the Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls, and
that one got weird. And I mean, that's saying something for the Indiana Jones franchise, but like that one got weird.
And then I got like 20 minutes into the new one. I was like, no, we just need to stop this. Harrison needs to go home and retire and not be the Red Hulk.
There is a little bit of irony, actually, to making certain like carving certain angels and putting them onto stuff.
Yeah, like protection and.
Well, actually, no. One of the Ten Commandments says one of the Ten Commandments actually forbids no graven images of heavenly beings. And so it's a little ironic that they break one of their major rules.
I think the song that we're going to post on Instagram along this episode is "Ironic" by Alanis Morissette.
Even more. And this actually still true. It's a lot more common in the Hebrew and Islamic faiths to not see depictions of angels because this is seen as idolatry and going away from God, which, image worship, not to mention the iconoclasm that happened in Eastern Christianity so many years ago. And again, like I said, I could do more.
Yeah,
with this
I know
episode.
you could. I can see you frothing out the mouth
hearing
a little
this. Christian iconography, on the other hand, shows a lot of angels. More angels, more this. Thanks mostly due to Constantine in the 300s. About 313 AD.
I knew Keanu Reeves was a time traveler.
Good one. Christianity was decriminalized in roughly 313 AD, which allowed for large public churches, which could be made with mosaics and frescoes and all that fun stuff that displayed various scenes from the Bible, including those that featured angels, such as the Annunciation when an angel came down and said, "Mary, you are pregnant with the Son of God. You're carrying the Messiah. Good for you." And then he bounces away. Now, on to another topic that's interesting with angels. Their wings! How do they get their wings?
Red Bull.
As well as halos. They didn't receive the wings and halos until about the 4th and 5th centuries. I heard your joke there, mister.
No, it got worse in my head.
Oh, no.
Here's how they got their wings and their halos. Red Bull and Xbox.
Okay. Oh.
And that is church music.
Before this, before the 4th and 5th century, angels were usually depicted like people, and they were described as such. Like in the Bible, there just says, 3 men came up to Abraham. Like that says it directly.
Yeah.
The winged angel was likely influenced by 2 major pagan images from around this time period, back in ancient early Christianity. The Greek goddess of victory, Nike, and the Greek god of love and sex, Eros, both of whom are depicted as winged. Which I could see very, very quickly. Before this, there was thought that only 2 of the most powerful types of angels had several pairs of wings, and I will discuss them later on down the way. The cherubim and the seraphim. But by the time of Jesus, there was the idea that all spirits had wings. Like, once you passed on, you got your wings and you were free to float around in
whatever.
In heaven or wherever. Even demons were depicted as winged because of this. Like, good, bad, everything. Islamic beliefs hold that some angels had more than 600 wings.
That seems a bit overkill.
They probably took a little bit too much Red Bull that time.
Took like 3 of the sugar-free ones in one shot.
Yeah. As for the whole halo thing that angels are known to wear, because we think of angels, we think of halo, wings, robes. Yeah. The halo was actually an artistic device that was used in many pagan cultures, which mostly Greek and Roman. So
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on some of this.
So look at that, just taking old ideas and no original ideas whatsoever.
There it is.
I might
it's
as
like
well.
The Hollywood movie industry.
I might as well say it now.
Yep.
But these halos in the pagan cultures would show the gloriousness and power of gods. So like Zeus would have a halo, Poseidon has a halo, or this would even be used for an emperor to show that he was powerful and that he also had a semi-divine status. Sort of like a cult of personality thing, the way I would see it.
Who was it Nero that always had an advisor next to him? He would duck his head under anything he walked under, like even if it was like the Arc de Triomphe or something. There was
Nero.
There was a Roman.
The Arc de Triomphe wasn't around back in Nero time.
I know, but I mean, he would walk under large bridges or arcs like that, and he would always duck his head because his ego was that big. I think it was a Roman emperor.
It sounds like Caligula. But I could be wrong.
It might have been Caesar.
I don't know, man. Well, you say a Caesar, but like you're talking Julius Caesar, because after Julius Caesar, every other emperor became Caesar.
Yeah, it became a title.
Yeah, so that's not pinpointing it. I don't know. Like that's actually one. I know that
it was one of Crow's classes. I remember him talking about.
I know that Nero, fiddled while Rome burned, because he was a psychopath.
No, I think it was.
And then Caligula was a weirdo who had to stab the sea to get back at the god of the ocean.
To be fair, that's kind of a weird flex, but
okay, flex, but okay.
Yeah, like you look insane, but at the same time, no one's gonna fuck with you in that moment.
Exactly.
Anyway, back on track.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're fine. You're fine. You said we're going to derail a few times, and I'm all for it. Angels, they're also linked to, carrying around harps. We're all familiar with the little shoulder angel and the ding, 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 ding. But but here's the thing. They don't hold harps in the Bible, ever. There's no mention of angels holding harps. They do blow trumpets, mostly to signify the end of days and judgment for the world.
Oh, tomato.
That does appear exclusively in the Book of Revelation, where like one where one sounded and the star wormwood fell and took out a third of the water. Here's the book. Have you ever actually read the Book of Revelation? That's a no. Why am I saying this? Why am I even asking?
I got kicked out of a Baptist church when I was like 10.
Fair enough. You were already... The Book of Revelation, dude, it has
a really good Iron Maiden song. What?
It has a lot of... It actually does have a lot of, imagery that is early first century Christians. Really scary sounding. Listening... Like, a star descending to the world and then destroying a third of the water supply by turning it to blood. Yes! That's terrifying.
That's just YouTube back in the 2000s.
Nah, you are not wrong.
Remember they got stuck in that giant apple or fruit or something? They were here performing in Norman. And YouTube got stuck in their giant prop thing they were supposed to come out of.
You're serious? Wow. Yeah. Oh, U2, the band. Yeah. I thought you said YouTube. I was like, what?
Yeah, YouTube.
YouTube also does the
thing. The internet entity.
That's fair. Obviously, angels are also known for singing. Full on, it's very much praise, 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 all the good, truly that's it. The idea of harps actually does appear, once again, from Revelation, but it's not angels, it's the saints in heaven that are described carrying harps while surrounding the heavenly throne. The harps was a way...
It sounds like a Broadway musical.
It kind of is, actually. There's so much going on in the Book of Revelation. We could have a whole thing, and I could actually give you a whole class on it.
I've got another bit from another comedian. I'll save it till towards the end.
Now, I'll try to remind you. I don't have a good memory, so good luck.
Great.
But now, one last thing that influenced how we actually see angels today. Renaissance painting. I told you I had to go through...
I kind of figured that was gonna pop up.
I told you I had to go to art history for this.
Yeah.
We're looking at artists like Donatello, Michelangelo, and Raphael. There's 3 of your turtles right there buddy. Because Michelangelo with the Sistine Chapel and the paintings that he did...
It is... So I'm not religious.
Clearly.
If you couldn't tell.
I used to be religious. I'm now irreligious. I don't really feel a religious influence in my life. Yeah. But I'm not going to get into somebody's face about don't.
Yeah, I'm not going to be a dick about it as long as you're not a dick about it.
Bingo.
No, but I have seen the Sistine Chapel in real life. Back in high school. The Sistine is in.
It's in Rome.
Okay, it is in Rome. I was thinking the one in England, in London. But
No. That's St. Peter's.
St. Peter's. I've been the Basilica.
You think that's St. Peter's Cathedral?
Yeah, but I've seen both.
You've seen St. Peter's Basilica.
Yeah, and I have seen the
Sistine Chapel.
And that painting's on point. It
is beautiful,
phenomenal,
and all of that. It's amazing.
And was it Michelangelo that painted it?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. If I remember correctly, Michelangelo put in somewhere he did a troll move.
That doesn't surprise me.
He put one of the cardinals in and painted his face in on top of one of the demons.
Yep. I think it was one where the demon had donkey ears or something.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's actually... I
saw that part. I was specifically looking for that piece. That
was actually quite common in a lot of... Because...
Yeah.
I mean, this is a shocker.
Politics.
Here's a shocker. Art is political. Art has been political. It always has been.
What's it say about Jackson Pollock paintings?
That when I look at it, I think of fishing with my dad. Hang on, that's Rorschach paintings. Whoops.
I think we need to cut this episode and talk about some things.
I might gotta go to therapy. But the oh my god, we are dumb. We're
trying to act like we're smart. We're not smart.
Oh, I'm not smart. I knew that from the beginning. I don't even have to try to prove I'm smart. I failed. I failed that one from the very beginning. Anyway, but Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, all these artists. These are just naming three who are specifically mostly painters, the occasional sculptor. They were famous. They were the ones who depicted angels as we see them today. You know, humanoid, semi-androgynous, winged, sometimes haloed. They would be these beautiful, bright colors, these poses, these dimensions, everything. Stuff that we had not seen prior to. Things got toned down just a little bit during the Baroque and the Rococo periods. But again, like I said, whole ass podcast episodes dedicated to this alone.
Yeah.
But this is also, this right here, during this time period, the Renaissance, is also, what are you looking at right now? Your face was weird.
Ted.
Fair enough.
Ted is just Ted.
It was also during the Renaissance period that we actually got one of the most common types of angels we think of, where we think of the cherub, this little fat angel baby, right?
Oh,
these little
all over
these little angel babies are actually putti, Putti, or singular puto. I know that doesn't sound right, does it?
For our Hispanic viewers or listeners, I'm sorry.
I can't say putto. That doesn't sound any better.
I'm not sure you can say the other thing either.
Putto, putti, putty. They don't sound good either way. But literally, the word putti means like little man, which is very weird. But again, ancient Italian, medieval Italian.
Bippity boppity. Piss the French off with the Beast of Givaudan. I might as well piss off the Italians.
I pissed off the Italians. Everyone's like, "That's a Tony."
Doing great.
These little angel babies were used in a more secular nature, appearing as, you know, mischievous little buggers and brats doing, you know, whatever. You've seen a lot of the artwork that depicts them, and
I've got a Stein from Germany that my father had when we lived over there that has like 3 cherubs on it as the logo.
The 3 little cherub guys, yeah. Some of these cherubs also had adult faces, which looks terrifying.
Yes.
Adult faces on baby bodies. That's very concerning. These also... Go on.
Just trying to picture your face on like a Chucky doll sized thing.
Oh, God.
And I need therapy now.
Oh, great. Way to go.
Therapy.
You put yourself into that one.
Yeah.
These little guys were also... they were influenced by 2 things, like how we got the little putties. One is that they are based on Cupid. Who, you know, Cupid, little guy.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Valentine's
shoot you in the ass
Day
with an arrow.
Yeah. There's also an uncertainty actually on how the putti became the cherub to most, because I mean, the OG cherubs that are described in the Bible
are terrifying.
Don't look like this, and I will get to them.
Yeah.
It is possible that this actually stems from the diary of a woman named Teresa of Avila. She describes a visit from a cherub, but she described him as a cute little guy, and not what they're thought to actually look like.
Yeah.
There's actually an image. Have you seen Angels and Demons?
No.
With Tom Hanks?
No, I haven't.
No. They actually showcase what is called the Ecstasy of Saint Teresa. The Ecstasy of Teresa of Avila's, I think is what it's called. And it's a statue that depicts Teresa looking like this, just, you know, sheer resplendence, as what appears to be a cherub with an arrow is aimed primed for her heart.
I'm looking it up right now.
You see, yep, you'll see what I'm looking at. Like, the angel should be up like this. Like, see my hand up?
Yep.
You found it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's not...
It
looks like the opposite. That looks like sheer terror.
It looks like she's about to get murdered. I know, right?
Yeah. It looks like Teresa got...
Teresa may have had a little bit too much of whatever grass she was smoking.
Something in her drink is what I'm thinking.
Whatever she was smoking must have been some good stuff. I'm just going to say that right here, right now.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. That is what I have so far, unlike a lot of the the history.
Yeah.
We and angels obviously still prevail to this day. They've prevailed into the post-Christian world, well into modern day. They appear very much in a lot of New Age material. In fact, I had to be very careful with sources while looking for this, because there's a lot of people who full on are like, angels are real, and I'm like, I don't want.
Let's hold that back.
I don't want that. Like, do you think angels are real? If you do, congratulations. Like, good for you. Yeah. I'm looking for actual, like, scholarly people
background
actually
history.
Have their stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm having to put my history degree to some use. After nearly 10 years.
Finally got around to it.
Jesus. But that was roughly the history of it. Angels have still, they have appeared in media since far...
Ever.
Pretty much since the beginning, like, stories of them. Then... movies like freaking It's a Wonderful Life, every time an angel and a bell rings, an angel gets its wings, that sort of thing. Then
even satirical stuff, Family Guy, American Dad,
Dogma by Kevin Smith is a really good example. There's that Supernatural, obviously.
Castiel, the best angel.
Good Omens features angels. That actually, there's a bunch of cartoons that have come out that have also featured angels. Like, there's actually you haven't seen it yet. It's on Netflix. I recommend it. It's called Dead End Paranormal Park. They feature angels and demons. And it's all different takes on it. The thing about angels that has prevailed to this since time memoriam is that they can be malleable. Like, since they are an immaterial being, you can kind of have a little bit of fun with it.
It's sort of like... This is a weird comparison, but follow me through on it.
I haven't even talked about fallen angels. And
I've actually got something about that pulled up.
I don't even think I have time for that, but if we do, well, it's awesome.
There's a South Park episode.
Oh, God.
I told you it was a weird segue. Follow me through the rabbit hole.
Okay. All right.
When they get abducted by the aliens...
Is this the first episode?
No, not the probe thing.
Okay, because that was the first episode.
But they find out that Earth is just a reality show for other aliens to watch. And the alien tries to take a form that is most pleasing to the main four kids. And it goes from, like, Stan's dad to, like, a T-Rex, and then it finally settles on a ice cream cone man that poops ice cream.
Hang on. Did Matt Stone and Trey Park, did they go to the internet and just see somebody saying, I wonder if we're actually a reality show, for extraterrestrials? Like, I could see that. I could see them doing that, because that's what they did with Rick and Morty, where it's like, show me what you got.
Yeah. But the point of that weird little tangent is the same thing of, it's sort of this, angels will, if they are real in this scenario, and we do talk, and they do talk to us, because I know the giant eyes and just nothing but like ribbons and eyes and wings, it's too much for us, and they'll take a form that's more capable of our understanding.
Yep.
Sort of the same thing as the South Park episode.
In fact, this actually is said in the Bible several times whenever the angels do appear to deliver messages to whoever. Yeah. Usually, like Abraham or whatever, they say, be not afraid. Mm-hmm. So they say that right away. Yeah. That appears...
Don't freak out.
Like, yeah, it's
like a reverse Cthulhu.
Give or take, actually, yeah. Because, like, they're trying to be benevolent, and Cthulhu is... No, he's
I'm
not.
just gonna fuck your shit up.
Pretty much. That was that, though. We're now gonna focus on part of what also brought this whole thing up for me in the first place. The hierarchy of angels. There are different angels.
There's always a manager.
There's always a manager. The way all this is set up is that there are different angels in each of the hierarchies, and we're going to focus on what some of them look like. The hierarchies, I'm going to go through all three of the major Abrahamic religions. Hebrew, Christian, and Islamic. There is the Baha'i belief, the Baha'i faith, which is I think it's a combination of Islamic and Christian. I could be wrong, but it's an offshoot. But I didn't have enough time for that one. These hierarchies, they were formulated by various philosophers. So, the Christian ones were influenced by Thomas Aquinas, who was a major Christian philosopher way back when. Saint Augustine, who was also a major influence. Pseudo Dionysius, he was obviously a Greek who had a massive following.
Yeah.
That's the Christian one. The Hebrew hierarchy was more set up by one person by the name of Maimonides. Long name. Then the Islamic one was set up by two Islamic philosophers. I would even argue mystics at this point. We're going to do a bit of mysticism. Kazvani and Fakir al-Din al-Razi.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's better than I could have done.
I just put those in. I learned them today. In angelology, which that's the study of angels.
Angelology.
Angelology is the exact opposite of demonology. Doesn't roll off the tongue nearly as well. But there is this belief that there is a hierarchical system of angels. The higher the angel, the more powerful they are. The way that I remember hearing about how the Hebrews actually have it set up, and I do have a friend who is Jewish, and she has talked to me about this a little bit. Think of and this has appeared actually in the book of Job. The book of Job is focused on, obviously, a man named Job. Okay. His faith is being tested. And so it starts off with, God. God is up in heaven, and he has his court of angels. And he's like, all right, everybody, you've been to earth. What do you, he's wanting reports. Because that's what the angels are. They're intermediaries between heaven and earth. They're like, all right, so this one dude lost his entire sheep one day. He then fell off a cliff because he couldn't live with being in debt. It's like, that's terrible. What about? And then God turns to someone who's sort of like a prosecutor, the Satan. I will say this right here, right now. This is not what we think of when we think of Satan, like the ultimate evil, the one below all type of figure. Yeah. This is the Ha-Satan, which is Hebrew for adversary, prosecutor. Think of him literally like the DA for God, or whatever.
The devil's advocate.
I was going to say district attorney, but close enough.
Same thing?
You know what I mean.
Same thing.
So, yes. And the Satan is like, yeah, there's this guy down here named Job, and he claims to be, super religious, right? What if we make his life hell, and he loses all of his family?
We're gonna test him.
Oh, yeah, no, the tests get bad. Like, for example, Job's home, the four winds collide against his house, killing his entire family. He loses all of his herds, like sheep and cattle. He loses all of those. He loses all of his money. He gets wrought with horrendous boils and just horrendous, and all of this just to test his faith. And he ultimately, he eventually meets with God and is like, "You tested me. Am I good?" And God's like, "Yeah." And it was
Dick move, God. Dick move.
Legitimately, it was God and the Satan going, pretty much betting $5 on if this guy's gonna, renounce God. That is putting it in a way that I'm probably gonna get people upset with.
Hey God, $5 he gives up. I'll take that deal. Damn good deal.
You take that deal? Alright, so I'm going to focus first on the Hebrew hierarchy of angels. This is going to be our starting, because I like to start at the beginning, and out of the three Abrahamics, it's Hebrew, Christianity, Islam. Okay. The first one is they are called the Hayot HaKodesh. I have to really put a lot of into this, because
a little bit of machismo.
Hebrew is a very guttural, throat heavy, guttural, sing-songy language. I've gotten to hear it. It's a very beautiful language.
Yeah, it is.
These are essentially living, sort of like living beings, so to speak, like living, powerful creatures that the prophet Ezekiel witnesses in a vision in the book of Ezekiel. What you giggling on? Oh, wait. Ezekiel.
What's your name?
Oh, God, not that again. I knew that was going to come up at some point. I was not ready. These are ones who appear there. These are ones who appear like they're... Arguably, this is the highest end. One could say that this is similar or close to God in terms of, like, living, powerful creature. After them is the Ophanim. The Ophanim, these are also called sometimes called the chariots or wheels. These look like gigantic floating wheels with eyes. Some artists have even put little prenatal babies inside of them. It to make it even more unworldly. It's very, very strange.
Unsettling.
Very unsettling. These angels will appear in the Christian hierarchy of angels.
My brain is just ADHDing all over the place with some of the things you say.
There's a lot I'm going off of here, right?
You said wheels, and my mind immediately went to Journey Wheels in the Sky.
God.
Yeah, welcome to my brain.
You are, yep. There's another one. There are the Erelims, Erelim, which stands for Valiant Ones. They exist only from a verse in the book of Isaiah about the impending invasion of Jerusalem, and essentially, I think, trying to fight against the invaders. It's been a hot minute since I've actually opened the Bible, so... There's also the Hashmalim. They are described as... Oh, these are ones actually have... They really legitimately... Here's actually what it says. Been a hot minute. And I looked, and behold, a stormy wind came out of the north, a great cloud with a fire flashing up, so that a brightness was round about it, and out of the midst thereof as the color of electrum, amber, out of the midst of the fire, and out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. So they're saying it's 4 creatures, but now it looks like a human. So,
Skinwalkers.
Shape-changing all around.
Skinwalkers.
Ugh. Up next is the Seraphim. And the Seraphim are a unique-looking angel that do also appear in Christianity as well as Islamic culture, so I'll actually mention it here right now. The Seraphim are notorious for essentially being the throne keepers of God. They are the top tier.
For some reason, I do know that.
You know this one. Yeah, they are depicted as having 6 wings, 3 pairs. The lower wings covering their legs, the middle wings covering their body, and the third covering their faces. Yep. Also allegedly having eyes along these wings as well. Yep. Just depending.
The classic.
This is your biblically accurate angel, everybody. Yeah. And it only really sets for 1 angel. These have appeared throughout, and these are utilized. They all almost have the same exact station in all the Abrahamic religions.
Throne guards, basically.
Throne guards who also cry, holy, holy, holy. They are singing praises of God every time. They appear in the Book of Enoch, as well as in the Book of Enoch, which is semi-canonical, which is part of the Apocrypha, which is a series of books of the Bible that were taken out of the Bible. I'm not going to get into that history.
The Bible after dark. Pretty much. I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong. As well as appearing in the Book of Revelation, where they are depicted, once again, monitoring the throne. After them are the Malachim. This is your messengers, your angels. This is your standard, folks. You know what I mean? Yeah. Then you have the Elohim. The Elohim is a word for gods or godhood. This actually coincides with primarily... not messengers. This could actually lead to eventual, possibly leading to the fallen angels, because in the book of Genesis there is brief mention of these supernatural beings, angels possibly, or even the Elohim, who had traveled to Earth because they saw human women. They were like, "Ooh, they're pretty." And then that's where we get the Nephilim, who are depicted as...
Zeus was doing that way beforehand.
That's actually part of it. And so we get the Nephilim, which Nephilim are giants, or, demigods, demi-beings. We get that a lot. Then there are the Bena Elohim, which is sons of God, which sort of leads into the Nephilim just a little bit. Finally, there's the cherubim, and this is where I'm going to have some fun, because the cherubim are terrifying.
And these are the little cherubs.
These are supposed to be the little cherubs, but they are described in the book.
So, before you do it, I want everyone that's listening, picture a cherub.
Picture a cute little baby. This is the actual, like, how they are described in Ezekiel, the same where we got the first rank of angels.
Yeah.
Each had 4 faces, and each of them had 4 wings. The legs of each were fused into a single rigid leg, and the feet of each were like a single calf's hoof, and their sparkle was like the luster of burnished bronze. The cherub is depicted as having 2 pairs of wings and 4 faces, of a lion, an ox, a human, and an eagle. These things are terrifying to look at. So they are literally bronze-skinned beings.
I need someone in our fan base, or I don't care who. I want someone to draw an actual cherub, and then put it next to a cherub.
A little pooty? Yeah.
A pooty.
These angels right here, the cherubim, they are actually... These ones I'm a bit more familiar with, because they're... Because I get on about that. I don't like the little... baby cherubs. These are my guys. These guys are my cherubs.
Those are the ones that need to be saying, "Don't freak out, don't freak out."
These are moo. There's 4 heads. These guys. These are the major guardians. Like, for example, when Adam and Eve got kicked out of the Garden of Eden, it was a cherub. Guards. It was a cherub that held a flaming sword. Held a flaming sword to keep them out.
Because it needed that to scare people.
Clearly! These angels are also the ones that appear on the mercy seat of the Ark of the Covenant. So, because they are guardians, that is their job. That's how they have been. What are you on about?
Those are the guardians of the galaxy.
Mm-hmm. And then finally...
So stupid.
And then finally is the Ishim. The Ishim are the lowest tier of angels. These are the ones that speak with the prophets and appear to them in visions. So, these are your lesser guys. These are the ones that appeared in Genesis and Daniel 10:5. Up next is the angels of Christianity, specifically the hierarchy here.
Oh boy, this is going to be fun.
Obviously, we've talked about the highest order already. You have the seraphim, the cherubim, and then also the Ophanim, also known as the thrones. Also called the chariots. These are the ones, obviously, that,
the wheels in the sky that keep on turning.
Bingo. Up next is the middle order, the dominions. The dominions, they are first mentioned in Colossians. As well, all of these angels are actually mentioned in Colossians. You have thrones, dominions, principalities, and powers. These guys are... I don't know what they fully do exactly. They legitimately they umbrella into each other, so to speak. So, like, dominions, I want to say, is like powers over nature. Then there's the virtues, which are another group of angels, which are about morality. Then there's the powers, which is about world powers. Then finally there's the lowest orders. There's the principalities, which focuses on nations. Then finally, there's the archangels, which in Christianity, they are the second lowest tier, but I would argue that they're actually one of the more powerful, because these are the fighters. These are the ones that actually...
The foot soldiers.
That actually do a lot of the fighting, and we have seen depictions like Saint Michael taking on the devil. We see that image all the time. Gabriel is also an archangel. And then finally, we have... the standard angels. This is essentially the lowest beings. These are the ones who are your messengers. They come to Earth. They're like, yeah, here's a message. I'm going back.
They give you a pamphlet and walk away.
That's pretty much it. They all are angelic orders. Like, every single one of them, they all have a function. They don't really have a personality. They're just they're just there and go.
They're angelic Spocks.
They're the ultimate courier. They're the ultimate courier. It's like when you're in Skyrim and you're walking along and it's like, I have something for you. Your eyes only.
I am in the middle of a dungeon, sir. How did you get here?
I have something for your eyes. Your eyes only. I have nothing else. Goodbye. And he bounces. Then finally, we have the Islamic hierarchy. This one I've also learned new names. These are some new ones for me. There are the Hamalat al-Arsh. These are the bearers of the throne. So these are very much like the Seraphim. You are really letting your ADHD get out of hand right now. A little
bit, I'm sorry.
I'm seeing your face go off, man.
So, go back a little bit. What'd you say?
I said...
About them being...
The bearers of the throne. Much like the Seraphim.
So, are they like bad news bearers?
Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You better apologize. You better apologize. These ones, apparently, they actually are... In some cases, they actually have a more animal-like form. They're depicting human, bull, vulture, and lion, much akin to that of the cherub. They are also depicted as having 6 wings and 4 faces, a whole bunch of other things. Then there are the Mukarrabun, which that's your cherubim once again. These ones surround the throne of God, and they are constantly praising, that sort of thing. That's one thing that's true in regards to anything regarding to Yahweh, God, Allah, whichever you believe in. Praise, praise, praise. All the praise.
Lots of ego stroking. Prayer.
Just gotta kowtow, kowtow, kowtow. That's how it is. Up next is the archangels, you have Jibrail, Michael, Israfil, and Azrael, which Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, and Azrael. And Azrael will be brought up. That's going to be an interesting one. There's the angels of heaven, such as the Ridwan. The Ridwan, came across this one not came across this one just too long ago. Ridwan is actually kind of his own thing. He guards the gates of heaven. Very easy, very simple name. His name, though, is absent in the Quran, but he is known as the Angel of Heaven. And then, here's one for you. This is the Zabaniya, or the Angels of Hell. These are the angels who guard hell. And you want to know the name of the leader of these angels?
Lucifer.
Nope.
Oh.
Malik. Malik.
All right, well...
He guards the hellfire. Yep.
So I inadvertently created my primary D&D character, the antagonist of the campaign you guys had going.
Yeah, your demon cat barbarian. You're blind, demon cat barbarian.
Is alright, well, that makes sense.
I saw that and I was like, oh, he is gonna have fun with this one. Obviously then after that...
Yes, tell me about my underlings.
Now, after that is the Al-Mu'akibat. I wish I was...
Same to you.
I wish I was better at Arabic. These are guardian angels. Just the overall, they watch over everybody.
Yeah.
And most of the Abrahamic beliefs do believe that everybody has a guardian angel watching over them. Clearly, yours and mine have a drinking problem.
Mine just doesn't like me sometimes.
Then there are the Kiramin Katibin, who are recorders. They record the actions of people. So their job is to, so they're the ones who are writing your book down as you go. So it's like right now, if we were Muslim, they'd be like, all right, they're recording an episode about us. They better say something nice. And then finally, I couldn't find a translation for this one, but I think it's more just based upon an old belief called animism, the idea that everything has a soul.
Yeah.
Angels entrusted with the affairs of the world. So, like, angels of thunder, lightning, rain.
That sounds like the most boring department of the angel department.
Legitimately, you're just a nature spirit at that point. Yeah. But that is all the hierarchies, Tony. That was a lot. But
yeah, I learned some things that I probably should have known beforehand.
Yeah, Malik. When I saw that, I went, well, I am going to have fun with this.
Not to extend your episode, but the reasoning behind Malik Maul, my D&D character.
What's his last name?
Maul.
Maul? Like Maul? Like
M-A-U-L.
M-A-U-L. Okay.
Was based off Darth Maul.
Yes.
And Darth Malik. But I didn't want to go Malik Maul, because Malik sounded more... not feminine.
Khajiit.
Yeah, it sounded more Khajiit, more feline.
Yes.
And turns out that's not the only reason.
the fact that the Malik, which is both a name and a title, much like how the Satan has become.
Yeah.
It is funny that it is a guardian of hell, like it guards the gate. That makes me laugh even more. Like you made.
I literally, yeah. We'll have to do a Between the Lines episode talking about our characters.
That's so awesome to me. I love it.
So, before we wrap, I assume you're about wrapped up?
Yeah, we're going to talk about some of the more famous angels, and that's it.
Okay. Are we going to talk about Lucifer?
Briefly.
Okay.
Briefly.
The thing I want to bring up is about him, so I'll bring that up whenever you get to him.
So I'm going to go over several. So I'm going to go over several of the angels that do have names. I'm not going to go over all of them because
there's a few.
There's a crap ton of them. There's a crap ton of them.
There's Jim. There's Frank. There's Billy Joe.
You don't want to talk about Billy Joe and Frank. Actually, he is not doing well. So I'm going to go over.
I was joking, but great.
So I'm going to go over the 4 big ones that I have come across. I'm actually going to go over one more, but I'm going to go over 5 angels that I have in mind. The first, obviously, is Michael. Michael is the big one that everybody thinks of whenever they think of the archangels. Yeah. He's depicted as, this great mighty hero who he's the guardian prince of Israel. He is the warrior. He is the one out fighting. That is his job. There is also then Gabriel. Gabriel is a messenger, and Gabriel has appeared several times, obviously. Gabriel has appeared by name twice in both Christianity and Islam. It was Gabriel who came to Mary and said, you're pregnant with the Messiah, you're pregnant with the Chosen One. That was it. And then he flew off. Then the second time, Muhammad, the prophet of Islam, he was in a cave and he received a vision from Gabriel. And Gabriel said, here are the guidelines for your new religion. For the new religion that, is for everybody, which became Islam. So, leave it up to Gabriel to come down and try to start some stuff. I mean, that's why Gabriel appears so often in media like Constantine and Supernatural as a shit stirrer. Because that's what he does. Then there is the...
I'm a shit stirrer, I stir the shit.
I got my big old shit stirring stick too.
Shit stirring stick?
Shit stirring stick. I should have made it so that we can't curse in this episode, but I think that's an aforementioned too late.
Yeah.
There
is... A
is...
little too late there, bud.
Yeah. There's also Raphael. Raphael is another angel. The
best turtle.
All of the names, by the way, they do translate to something.
Oh, yeah.
Like, God has healed. That is what translates to Raphael. Raphael is very much a healer. I would argue he's kind of like a cleric type figure, almost, in these times.
Yeah.
And also, fun fact, stirred waters in the pool of Bethesda. So as we were talking about stirring stuff, I want to know what Michael's is. Michael's... Where's the name at?
Isn't it?
It's like Michael is
I thought it was like the spear of God or something.
That actually would not surprise me. And then Gabriel, Gabriel's not the voice of God. That is Metatron. Metatron is an entirely different being altogether.
I thought you said Megatron.
No. Metatron. Metatron. Yeah.
Optimus.
Yeah. No. The Metatron it appears in all of this as well. This is another angel.
Not in my headcanon, it's not. It is literally God and Michael with a spear and Megatron.
this angel is often depicted as like the voice of God, like it like literally speaks for God, because if anybody else hears God, their head's gonna explode. Dogma wasn't too far off on how that's portrayed on. Here's another one, and you've actually heard this one before. Samael.
Yep.
Samael. We are familiar mostly through Hellboy, right?
Yep.
With this one. But this is actually a Jewish archangel. This angel, in fact, is, their translation is venom or poison of God. So this one's a tough character.
Jesus.
Yeah, this one, he is...
Well, not Jesus, but, you know.
Yeah, no. But Samael is a figure that is the accuser or the adversary, so arguably could be the Satan in the Book of Job that I mentioned earlier. Yeah. He's also a seducer and a destroying angel, a god of death.
I mean, if we're going by Hellboy standards...
Yeah, not too far off. But the thing is, though, that this angel is not necessarily evil. The functions are regarded as resulting in good, so like what he's trying to do is for betterment.
Yeah.
It's just... Yeah.
It's a chaotic good.
A very chaotic good, because this angel really gets into the works on it. And then finally is the last one that I was like, oh, I kind of want to talk about this one. Azrael. Azrael appears in... is primarily the personification of death in Islam. In fact, have you ever seen the show Lucifer?
I've seen like 3 episodes. It was...
They actually meant, like, few seasons down the way, they actually mention Azrael, like Azrael's blade, which is the angel of death. They separate, and they made Lucifer in that show Samael, and he's twins with Michael, which that's kind of
Jerry.
Yeah, and Lucifer in the TV show, he has the power of, you know, fleshing out people's desires. Like, what do they want? Do they want to ride their bike fast? Do they want this money? Do they, you know,
Daniel Radcliffe and horns.
Yes. Michael, on the other hand, is the exact opposite. He brings out people's fears, which
also Daniel Radcliffe and horns.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But Azrael appears, and Azrael is in this depiction as a woman, which would probably piss off quite a few of the Islamic beliefs. I'm not going to say much on that one otherwise.
Yeah, moving on.
But you know, angel of death, a psychopomp, someone who is responsible for transporting souls to the afterlife. Yeah. That's pretty much it, all I have for the angels. And this was just a simple crash course that, like I said, I could have done way more with this topic.
Oh, yeah.
We would have had several episodes. Hell, another podcast alone.
So,
but what you got?
I feel like we should do like a... Oh, excuse me. That cider's finally getting to me.
Yeah.
We should do like joint investigation, studying into it.
Yes.
To make an episode of it, because I wouldn't mind doing the devil's advocate on this.
Yeah.
And look it up on your laptop if you can.
Yeah.
The Morning Star statue in... which church is it in? Just look up the Morning Star statue.
The Morning Star, Lucifer, Paul Fryer?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I've heard about this one.
I want to see your on it. Like, I'm sure you've seen it before, but I want to see your reaction
that is a combination of both terrifying and beauty.
Yeah. To sort of touch on the art history aspect of your stuff. The Morning Star statue is Lucifer with still his angelic wings, bound by about 1 million ropes and chains, it looks like.
Yeah.
And it's a statue, a monument, inside a church in London. I can't remember which one.
It looks like, the way his face is designed, I'm looking at this, his face looks like a combination of both demonic and angelic. Like, it is a combination.
It is his descent from heaven into hell.
Because in a lot of Christian thought, and this is true, it is that, you know, it is that Lucifer was the most beautiful of angels.
Yeah. It is in, I'm going to butcher the name of the town, Marylebone, Westminster, London. I believe Westminster is sort of like...
Marylebone?
Yeah, Marylebone.
Holy Trinity Church.
Yeah, Holy Trinity Church.
Westminster, London. Okay.
I just wanted to talk about that one because I feel like that's sort of a good teaser going into a Lucifer episode if we do one. Because that is, to me, that is a perfect depiction of Lucifer's fall from grace. And I'm not saying I love Lucifer and I love Satan. I'm not a Satanist. But Lucifer is probably one of the most interesting characters, I guess, in Christianity and just religion overall, because he was basically God's right-hand man, and he fell from grace so hard because he was advocating for something that we have.
He didn't want to bow to humans.
Yeah, he didn't want to bow to humans, and he wanted, if I remember correctly, he wanted to give humans free will of choice.
Something akin to that, yes.
So,
and that,
I may be incorrect on that, but yeah,
It's more so, actually, that God said that man was created in my image, therefore they are perfect, and you must bow to them.
Yeah, and Lucifer was like, but we're literally angels up here.
Lucifer was prideful. Like, you know the phrase, pride cometh before the fall? That's where it stems from, is the fall, the ejection from hell, from heaven.
And just for my own little headcanon goofiness, I picture this like when he's closer to heaven, and then when he gets closer to hell, it goes into that Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin of him, like his arms up and his bat wing or his leathery wings out.
I actually would almost think of those wings staying feathered, like being a show that what you once were, kind of like as a punishment, because that's what they did in the TV show Lucifer. Is that he doesn't have these?
Yeah, he's got the these feathers.
He's got pure white feather wings, beautiful feather wings.
But yeah, I love that sculpture, and I think it's a perfect example of what Lucifer became, because it does show him not perfect anymore. His face is absolutely messed up, and it's a very dramatic fall from grace. Yeah. But I just want to plug that, and I feel like that might have been, if we ever do a Lucifer episode or a Demons episode, that's kind of a good jumping point.
I could have talked about fallen angels this episode.
Oh,
I think I will save that for... I think I'll save that more for... whenever we go over a Demons episode, just because that way we can lead into the demons, so to speak. That'd be a very fun episode to do. Yeah. Well, what do we have planned for next episode, Tony? Want to give us a hint? Because we didn't give a hint last time.
Well, it is actually it's a double-header episode.
He's got a double creature feature, everybody.
Double creature feature. One of them is actually going to be one of my draft picks that we have not covered yet.
Oh, yeah. That'll be fun.
So that dwindles it down from 5 to like 2, 1 or 2, I think. Yeah. So, and then the other half is actually sort of akin to it, but not really. Mm-hmm. But we're also going to be going back into native folklore.
Oh, we find ourselves going there a few times.
It's fucking terrifying.
We're also we're also going to find ourselves going through like a lot of Christian history and stuff quite often, just because like a lot
it's
of
so prominent.
Like we're going to come across that. We're going to circle back quite a few times. So if we miss something here, if I miss something here, guaranteed I'm going to somehow find my way back to here, and I'll fix up what I messed up somewhere.
So.
All right. Well, I enjoyed this episode. Like, I actually learned a little bit more than I thought I did.
I need to do some research in my D&D character names. Jesus.
Yeah, you're right. Like, some of this was a surprise. Like, once again, Malik. That was a fun one.
Should I post your Hero Forge? I think I still have the screenshots of the Hero Forges you made of my account.
I don't see why not.
Just like, here it is.
I mean, they've done a lot of adjustments since then.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, but thank you everybody for listening once again to Tall and Short with Tim and Tony.
I'm Tim.
And I am Tony with an imposter complex.
That's all right, yeah.
Yeah.
Logo by.
Logo by Brittanie Norris.
Find us on.
You can find us on social medias at Tall and Short Podcast. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. And you can also email us at tallandshortpod@gmail.com. You can send us suggestions. You can send us updates about how you're doing. Like and review us on wherever you listen to podcasts. Tell your friends. Tell your families. Maybe tell angels if they come visit you. Also, probably go talk to a therapist afterwards.
I was going to say go door to door like some churches. And have you heard the good word?
I wasn't even gonna get into Mormons with this episode. I was not about to, because that's
We can talk about the book.
Nope, I'm gonna not worry about that. But anyway, everybody, thank you once again for listening to Tall and Short with Tim and Tony. This has been a fun episode. We hope you enjoyed it as well.
That's a weird combination. I pissed off the Italians and the Mormons.
Have a good one, everybody.
Bippity boppity.